guys, welcome back to Maple and Roots, and today we are talking all things home birth, okay? If you don't know me, my name is Bethany. Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the little bell to ring notifications of all my future uploads. And yeah, let's get to today's video, all about home birth. I am a mom of 6, soon to be 7. I have birthed 5 of my children, and 2 out of 5 have been birthed at home. 3 were at a hospital setting with hospital certified nurse midwives. So I've had all natural births all along. I have birthed at different locations. I've used basically different providers almost every time for various reasons. Actually, usually it's because where I birth or when I birth, my midwives then retire or they close the birthing unit or like whatever. It's just like a weird thing with me. So yeah, sorry guys. I am also studying to be a student midwife, so home birth is a huge passion of mine, and I love talking about birth. I probably love talking about birth more than I love talking about homeschooling, so that's kind of a big deal. So I think this is going to be a 3-part series. We're going to talk about preparing for home birth today, and then we're going to talk about what I do to prepare for postpartum, because I really believe in honoring your postpartum time, and then newborn essentials. Obviously, with this many kids, I have found what works for me and what doesn't work for me by this point. And I try to be pretty minimal with my prep for birth, even for postpartum and for newborn essentials. I am not a baby gear person at all. You won't, like most people coming into my home probably don't even know that there's a baby that's going to be coming, because I have a car seat and a little dresser, and that's basically it, and about 7,000 cloth diapers. So those right there. Yeah, that's kind of just how I do things. I just know I'm not going to use a lot of the seats and the swings and that stuff. I do use woven wraps because I love them. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So home birth. Yeah, I have a lot of questions about home birth. A lot of people ask me questions, which is interesting because home birth is definitely on the rise, even more so than my first home birth about 5 years ago. And so people are becoming more familiar with home birth. It's a little bit less like, oh, you're what? Or maybe just people around me are used to me talking about it now. I'm not really sure, but I feel like I'm seeing home birth more. I always join like birth month groups when I am pregnant, and I feel like I'm seeing home birth talked about more, or birth center births, and more people going into the midwifery model of care. And I think that that's really awesome, and I'm excited about that. I think 2020 and COVID have really helped people to embrace home birth and start thinking outside the box for their births and where they want to birth and all of those things. So I choose to birth at home for multitudes of reasons. Basically, any reason that you hear about home birth, that's me. I probably check most of those boxes. I choose to birth at home because it is where I feel the safest, which I think when it comes to birth is extremely important, that the location of your birth is where you feel at peace and safe. And for me, my home is a place where I'm safe, or I feel safe. I choose to use midwives. Midwives, it's a confusing term, as Jim Gaffigan would say, like, I use a midwife because we believe in witchcraft. No, not at all. Sometimes you get that like association. That's not, it's not. I'm using Christian midwives this time. It's midwives it's a very old term, and it basically means, I think, helping women. There's a huge long history of midwives. It goes all the way back to, we see in the Bible in Exodus, with Moses and talking about midwives there. God honored the midwives. I think that's amazing. And so I choose to have midwives care for me. I know that there are some who choose home birth and go unassisted, and I think it's important you do what's best for you in your birth, but for me, I choose midwives. And so I prefer just more of a traditional model of pregnancy. It's literally the second time that I've run out of storage on my camera. So I don't know where I was. So I choose the midwifery model of care. I love it. I embrace it. And I every birth that I have, I go further into the traditional model of midwifery. And I love women helping women. I love the amount of care that I receive, that it's not just physical, but it's emotional and spiritual as well. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So home birth, this is my home. I am trying something different this time. So a lot of people assume if you're birthing at home that you're having a water birth, which is not accurate. You can birth your baby anywhere. You can birth your baby on the toilet. That happens. You can birth your baby in your living room. I usually am on my bed or kneeling on my bed. Last time I was kneeling. Yes. Interrupted. Oh, they're in that drawer. Needs the sunglasses. So I haven't considered water since having my second child, because I was in a hospital setting for her, and that birth is probably my hardest. It wasn't physically my hardest, it was emotionally my hardest. I was not prepared to have my second daughter, my second biological daughter. I was full of fear, and I emotionally just wasn't ready. There was a lot going on. There's a lot of things I look back on that I do not agree with my care and how I received that care and what happened in that. And so now, there's my dog. I hear her. It's not regrets. I just didn't know. I just didn't know what I know now. And so I attempted to try the water at her birth, but I was entering transition when I got into the water. And I also knew that I was not allowed to birth in that water. So they had just put in this huge fancy tub that you could labor in, but you couldn't birth in, and so it was knowing that my first labor moved really fast. When I got in there, I floated. I literally just could not brace myself. I just floated, and it made me crazy because I was in transition and I was getting ready to push, and it was just really challenging. But knowing that I'd have to get out of the tub, go all the way down to the hall, down to my room to be able to push baby out, and it just messed with me. So I have not attempted water since then because it was just not a good experience for me. And so with this birth early on, I talked to my midwife about it, and I just kind of kept coming up in my brain, kind of kept thinking about it. And at one point we kind of stopped and asked, why does this keep coming up for me? Why am I thinking about this so much? So I kind of made the decision. My midwife has a birth pool that I can use, and I just needed to get a liner. And so I didn't have to worry about going out and finding buying a tub or anything like that. So we are going to try it. I don't know. I have pretty fast labors. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I don't know if that's where I'm going to enjoy birthing or not. We'll see. I'm going to set it up in our living room area. And otherwise, if I'm not in there, I might end up birthing either in general or in my bedroom. My bedroom's not very big, so when you think about having 2 midwives plus my husband in here and a multitude of children, I don't know if I'm going to end up wanting to birth in here or not, just because it's a lot of us. So yeah, and that brings us to the next question. My kids are going to be there for the birth. I think I talked about this last time. If they choose, they can be here, and they can choose not to be here. That's up to them. There's plenty of spaces in our home for them to go where they don't have to be involved at all. And yeah, so that's kind of that. So let's get to preparing for the birth, which is apparently this is a really long intro to get there. So I did the little spin around thing, and I have this wire basket. I'm going to see if I can pick it up and show you without my camera stand falling down. So it's actually a serving tray thing that I got from my living room a few years ago. And yeah, so I just pulled it out for this. So I'm just going to kind of unpack this basket and talk about each thing because it just kind of makes sense. So the first thing is Viva paper towels. as I said, this is going to be my third birth at home. All 3 of those midwives were like, you need Viva paper towels, the like signature cloth ones, the softy ones. So that's what we have. I believe it helps with like perineum care and things like that in case they need to do things. These are the softest on the market, so that's why we go with Viva. They're also really strong and durable. Next in my basket, I actually have my fetoscope. I have this because all through the pregnancy, this is what I've used to monitor baby and to hear baby. I started hearing baby's heartbeat probably around 28 weeks. And because this time around, I have taken a lot more charge of my prenatal care, it was really nice to have this and be able to listen to baby anytime that I wanted to without the harmful effects of a Doppler or radiation or anything like that. So this is a learning curve. This was like literally $15 on Amazon or something like that. It is a little bit of a learning curve on how to use it and how to find the heartbeat. And my baby has had kind of an unstable lay this whole time. So, and had a very abnormal lay for a long time. So it was challenging for me to go through and find the heartbeat, but I have gotten decent at it and starting to learn the different tones between like a placenta and a cord and baby's heart rate and all of that. So yeah, fetoscope, if you don't have one, they're not that expensive to pick up on Amazon, but know that it is a learning curve and it takes patience to learn. So yeah, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, there it is. Next up out of my basket, I just picked this up at TJ Maxx. This is just a kind of like a crop top, but like supportive crop top thing. So this is what I'm going to wear when I'm in labor. It gives me the coverage that I want for pictures, but will be easy to remove for skin to skin. I should have put a disclaimer that this is all about birth. So this is what it is. I'm talking about my boobs. This is what it is. I'm just gonna put it all out there. So this is what I'll wear. It's comfortable and I'm excited about it. And it was $9 at TJ Maxx, $10 at TJ Maxx, something like that. The brand is 90 Degree by Replex. I don't know. It's at TJ Maxx. That's where I found it. I also have in this basket, this is just a blood pressure cuff. My midwife obviously has her own tools. Like most midwives are not going to use a fetoscope in labor. They will use Dopplers, and my midwife will use a Doppler in labor. And she obviously has her own blood pressure cuff and all of that professional equipment. It's just easier for me to keep my stuff here. And maybe before she is in here, if I want to check my blood pressure or try to listen to baby or anything like that, that's why they're in here. But yeah, I just like having this at home, especially with all the stuff with the virus and stuff going on. And there's a lot of like blood pressure stuff going on right now that midwives don't really know about, like what's going on. There's been a lot of cases of high blood pressure and preeclampsia for the past year, and so we don't know why. So I've never had high blood pressure ever in any of my pregnancies. It's never been a concern, but it is just nice to have this on hand at home as I'm caring for myself. So yeah. I also have some of this. This is actually my midwife's. It's just in here right now. This is arnica, and arnica is super important. This is actually more for postpartum. After the baby's born, I like to take arnica to help with the cramping. It's a huge trauma to your body after you give birth, and arnica is really wonderful homeopath to help with the trauma and all the muscular stuff. So I've got that. And then I have, I'm not going to take them all out, but I'll take out a few. These are just some old swaddle blankets. So I've got a couple muslin ones, which I'm not sure we'll use, but I just popped them in there. And then we've got these like fleece flannelly ones that you can pick up pretty cheap normally. I've had these forever. I've used these for all of my home births, and I also will eventually end up using them as flat cloth diapers as well. they're amazing. They're cheap. You can get organic if you want, and they're helpful. So when baby comes out, I also have a stack of towels if you saw like on my dresser, because water birth towels is probably handy to have. But when baby comes out and is on my chest, we can kind of cover baby with the blankets if they're cold, but they're, they can get blood on them. They can get whatever they want on them. It's not a big deal. It's not like my fancy, nice muslin things, swaddlers or anything like that. So I like to have a good amount of those on hand. I think I have 10 in this basket. You never know. Some midwives will pop them in the oven or pop them in a crock pot or something like that to just have them warm, especially with coming in the water coming out. We want to make sure baby can keep its temperature up and all that stuff. So along with that, I ordered this big thing of Chucks pads. These are from Amazon. I think that there's like 25 in here. That's a lot. And they were pretty inexpensive, but they're definitely important to have. You want them to protect your bed. And birth is messy. So that's why we have them. I also have in here 2 Ziploc bags. These are gallon-sized bags. These are for the placenta after its birth. I have had questions about placenta care. I choose not to ingest my placenta. I've kind of gone back and forth many years on it. I keep my placenta usually because it's a really good dinner party conversation piece when it's in your freezer. So I choose not to ingest my placenta. I think there's a lot more about the placenta that we don't know about. We know that the placenta can filter things like tumors and cancers and all these things from our, to help protect our growing baby. It'll sacrifice itself, and I'm just not sure it's wise to ingest that. Just at this point, I'm not comfortable with ingesting it, especially again with this past year, the blood pressure issues, and there have been some placenta issues for people who appear to be perfectly healthy, and it doesn't make any sense, and we're a little bit confused right now. So I will not be ingesting my placenta unless God really tells me to, but I will keep it until I decide what to do with it. Next in the basket is, this is an aquarium net. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. I have this. This is just a 10-foot drink safe hose. Got it at the RV section at Walmart. And my midwife has a hose that she brings. We just didn't know if it was going to be long enough for where we're hooking up from the water. So I just wanted to make sure we had all of our bases covered. And when we're done, I'm actually just going to send it with her so she can add it additionally for her future clients because I don't need it. I have these. These are drop cloths. They're just from Home Depot. They're like, like painting drop cloths. They're huge. And I have these to put underneath the birth pool. I actually have 3. So 2 to go underneath the birth pool just to make sure we don't get any water on our floors. And then the next one will go under our bed. So basically we do like a set of sheets and then the plastic and then another set of sheets on top. So that way, when things are messy or if the Chucks don't make it or whatever, you can just strip the bed but still have sheets on it, so you don't have to like take out more sheets or anything like that. So as labor begins, Jason, or I, probably me because I don't like how he makes the bed, we'll just put that on and make the bed and just make sure our bed is protected. So yeah, I also have this. This is a premium baby nasal aspirator. A lot of people use the Nose Frida. I, after my research, kind of like this one a little bit better. There was just a couple things that I felt like were different with this, and it was actually cheaper on Amazon, so we'll keep this for baby. My midwife also has her own things like this that she uses and obviously disinfects between clients. So this couldn't be necessarily used in labor. I mean, it could. She would probably use her own tools, if anything needed to happen with that. This is probably more for after baby, but I keep it with the birth stuff anyway. I also have this, which, So I've had a couple of dehydration issues this pregnancy. It's actually pretty normal for me. I just sometimes forget to drink. And so we found this at our local grocery store. Roar, that's such a hard word to say. Organic, complete hydration. Cucumber watermelon is my favorite flavor of it. The ingredients are decent. I don't love like stevia, whatever. And those things, I actually cannot stand coconut water. My husband drinks coconut water like it's going out of style. I cannot stand coconut water. This has coconut water in it, and I guess makes it more palpable for me. It's got Himalayan pink salt in it, and anyway, it has done really well to hydrate me. So and it doesn't have like sugar in it, like, you know, Gatorade or something like that. So I'm keeping this for birth, just to keep my hydration up. Hydration is obviously very important in labor. And as is eating, if you need to eat, you should be able to eat in labor. I usually don't because my labors are really fast. So eating is not really on the picture or on the table for me normally when I'm in labor. But yeah, so that's that. I also keep, this is just next to my bed that I keep normally. I've got this glass cup. It has a cover too, but most of the time it's kind of foggy. I most of the time don't put it on. I've got these silicone bendy straws. Bendy straws are kind of important in labor. Definitely recommend having straws that are bendy, whether you use the plastic or whatever. It just makes it easier if you're in some sort of weird position. Your birth partner can, you know, do something like that. It's to help you stay hydrated. I also have, switching over here, a diffuser. This one I got at TJ Maxx recently. I think it was on clearance for like $20. It is so cute. It's big. It lights up to different colors. This is in case we want to diffuse any oils in labor and have that going. There are benefits to oil usage, and yeah, so my midwife will put in whatever she wants to. So we'll have that. I also have this next to my bed, which is not necessarily labor. No, that was foggy too. Jeez Louise. Not necessarily like labor related. It can be. But that's for any herbal teas. Like last night, I had like a really weird stomach cramp last night. And so we just did some red raspberry leaf tea. It's just easier to make it in here. And then postpartum, that will sit there as well. That was my midwife's idea, and it was absolutely brilliant. Further, and these are kind of more like for the postpartum, but I thought it was important to bring them out just for those moments after birth. I'll use cloth pads and mesh panties. I think that these are Freedom Mom ones. They came, I have like 2 packs of these. These can actually be washed, which is really handy. I just find that these are easiest with the cloth pads for the first, couple of days, just because everything is messy. So I will use those. And yeah, I also in this like little basket right here, because I kind of have the birth basket and then like the beginning postpartum basket, I have like just the little diapers, like our first little diapers. This is so cute. This is from Twinkie Tush, which I love their diapers. It's a little fitted. And yeah, so that stuff is in there. I also have an amazing group of friends who have walked with me through many pregnancies. And I've walked with them through many pregnancies, and we are all over the country. Actually, we're international, and there's about 12 of us. And so for every baby that comes, we do something called a mother's blessing. It is kind of an alternative to a shower. It's more focusing on the spiritual aspect of your baby coming, and just, it's amazing. We pray over one another. We have a friend who is a beautiful, incredible writer. And so she has the rest of the group kind of submit words about the mom, and then she writes this incredible blessing over whoever is pregnant. And we do like a liturgy, and it's just a beautiful evening that I look forward to with all of our pregnancies. And this was my first with the group, and so it was amazing and it was wonderful, and I 10 out of 10 recommend, because there's no like pressure of like games and presents and all that shower stuff that this is my 6th pregnancy, you know. So they gifted me this. It is like a banner of affirmations. My friend Shelby designed them, and I love them so much. And it has affirmations on it. Like this one says, breathe baby down, pray to Jesus, listen to him, your body and your baby. Right here. And they're just really, they're so stunning. And it's a beautiful reminder that, you know, I'm not alone, that so many have gone before me and so many will come after me in birth. And so once I'm in labor, I'll hang those in my living room where the birth pool is, and it will really just help to calm and connect and breathe and have those visual reminders. The last time I made my own banner, and I did the names of God last time, so Jehovah Jireh, like things like that, and that I loved being able to, you know, look up and to remember who he is. I also prepare a birth playlist. I just used Amazon Music. That's what we use in our home, Alexa's. And so actually every night when we put our boys to sleep, we sit in our room and we have Alexa going just on like a random worship playlist. And so every night I'm like, Alexa, add this to, well, actually I say, Alexa, add this to baby 2020, because when I made the playlist, that's what I said. And then Asher, who is 7, was like, Mom, it's 2021. And I was like, you're right. But baby was conceived in 2020, so I don't know. I just keep it. I haven't changed it. But yeah, I have that playlist. There's a lot of like Maverick City on there. Just a lot of worship. And the blessing is on there, of course, because I feel like you can't really give birth without that. And actually kind of a cool story. This is getting to be a long video. I apologize. I just like to talk. But let's try not to say and there was 2 songs last year that really carried our family, and the first one was Waymaker and the second one was Graves into Gardens, and those songs we really just clung to last year. They were kind of our anthem for the year. And so I was doing the dishes one day and Graves in the Garden came on, and I was like, oh, like this might be a really good like song to birth to. And I felt God tell me so clearly that I was not to put that on the birth list, that he was going to give a new song. And so I have no idea what song this baby will be birthed to. All of my kids have been birthed to worship music. Like my second daughter was birthed to How He Loves by Flyleaf, which is the best version of that song, by the way. Just listened to it yesterday. But they all have had songs that they've been birthed to, and that we, you know, speak over their lives. I love having worship music on when I'm in labor, because it is spiritual. We are birthing life that like God has created. And to me, it is such an honoring time, and it is such a time where I feel God so closely on my heart. And really, you know, at the end of labor, when you're so close and you get to that I can't moment, are the times that I find that God meets me the most. And so then it just becomes about him and I can kind of tune everybody else out and get that baby out. And so worship music is incredibly important to me. Probably about all the stuff, worship music is the most important for me for birth. I don't have it on hand because I haven't made it yet, which is amazing because I am far into my due period, so I need to do it. Is the cord tie. I'm just going to braid up some embroidery thread, make a little tie for baby for when we're ready to cut the cord. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I have my camera, obviously. Jason did pictures last time. And, you know, for having this many kids in home births, Jason is not really all about the birth life. Not like I am. And so I think he would like rather the olden days where like the guy sat out in the room smoking a cigar. Like he's like, I don't know. He's there and he's incredibly supportive and he does a good job. Normally he holds the cup and makes me drink. But the last time our friend was taking pictures and she didn't make it. And so, or she was supposed to take pictures and didn't make it. And so he picked up the camera and did it. And he used to shoot weddings and me and all that stuff. So he kind of knew a little bit of what he was doing. And so, that's what he did. And actually it really worked out for us. It gave him a purpose and feeling like he could do something in it and kind of focus on that instead of me being on pain, which is a struggle for him. And we ended up having beautiful birth pictures. And so I was really grateful. So we're going to do that again. Camera's all charged and ready. And that is on my dresser sitting, waiting, ready to go. So I think that's it. We talked about the sheets, the towels, the birth pool. That's really the preparation for my home birth. And anything further my midwife brings. Any tools that she needs, she brings. She brings all the homopathies. She brings all everything that she could possibly need in an emergency situation. My midwives are equipped and have those things to bring to the birth. So that's kind of why you're not seeing like any resuscitation things or anything like that. Not because we don't have them, but because I don't need them as the mom preparing for the birth, because my provider will bring those for our birth. Yeah. So that is about it. I think this went a little longer than what I hoped, which is why I'm really happy that I was able to separate these videos. If you have any questions about home birth, I'd love to answer them. Just drop them below. And you can connect with me on Instagram at Maple and Roots. I'm also on TikTok, also Maple and Roots, but I haven't posted anything. I just like to watch cleaning videos. So that's that. Thank you for being here. And yeah, until next time, see you guys.